My day has to get started pretty early today, so I'm not going to do the standard like chatterbox about the three top issues. I'll just go straight to it. Our three top issues that we're going to get to today are number one, should we be doing more to hold the Guam Education Board responsible for all the fires that their hire has started, and we will try to get Dr. Judy Guthertz, the chairwoman of the board, on the line after the first commercial break. In the second part, we're going to talk to Senator Jesse Lujan about a story that Kandit's going to be publishing today based on our investigative look into hiring at Guam Regional Transit Authority. Mr. Lujan is the oversight chairman for that agency. And the third thing I want to do is connect that the shenanigans, part of the shenanigans that this administration has been pulling, to that disgusting display from the Democratic Party of Guam in their attempt to bully and blackmail the nominees chosen by the voters of Guam to be the Democratic nominees into continuing that disgusting behavior that's been going on in this administration, and how those nominees, Therese, Terlaje, and Sabina Perez, did not surrender to them, stood their ground, and hopefully our island is better for it. We will get to all of these things on the other side of the commercial break. Stick with us.
Good Morning Show with Troy Torres is brought to you by 76 Circle K Guam.
We are going to jump right in and try to get the chairwoman of the Board of Education, Dr. Judy Guthertz, on the line to talk to us about what's going on over at GDOE and whether the board is willing to take more responsibility for what's been happening. I'm not sure if she's going to answer. I sent her a message this morning. She hasn't responded, so this is a cold call.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not a...
All right. Well, we tried, and I'll keep trying. So the Board of Education, let's take a step back. Over the past 8 months, we in the community, and especially those in the Guam Department of Education, most especially the students, have been treated to a series of bonfires ignited by their new superintendent of education, but not anyone who's new to the politics of this island, former Senator Judy Wanpat, selected by the majority of the members of the Guam Education Board. She was, of the applicants for superintendent, the only politician and the only one who had not been part of the growth and progress of the Guam Department of Education that began in 2011, 2012, and has led to significant improvements by leaps and bounds in students learning to standard over at GDOE in our public schools. The board chose her. Perhaps there was some hidden wisdom that the rest of us couldn't see, but everybody was telling the board, like, this is the last person who you want to select. Why don't you select a professional educator who's been in the trenches and part of this progress that's been happening? Were things perfect? No, of course not. That's nothing's ever perfect, right? But they were on the correct trajectory according to the data. Anyway, so they choose this politician. She has upended public schools ever since January. And it's been one scandal after another, after another, after another. And the latest one really is one of absolute incompetence. And it is the closure of Teton High School and Simon Sanchez High School, together on a shared campus that Judy Wanpat forced them to do without any collaboration, any communication with these schools, where people would have told her this is a very bad idea. And then we find out that there have been these maintenance issues that have been happening at the Teton campus this whole time. And we find out from the students, not from GDOE, but from students. And the students are coming out and they're saying, what in the heck? And they're asking the same questions we are, but it's like totally these kids are smarter than us. And how they're able to communicate and to articulate these problems, I am so very impressed with them. And they're saying things like, well, I mean, it doesn't make sense because these problems, they didn't just appear. They've been around. Why didn't you guys inspect this place before? Why weren't these fixes made before? Why were we sent here? Why did you send the Simon Sanchez here? Why isn't Simon Sanchez built? And where is the superintendent of education? And now they're asking, where is the board? Because the board, and they know this, we all know this, the board hired the superintendent. So if we're upset that Judy Wampat's been making the wrong decisions, and this has been a trend since she started, since January, and it's almost been like every week or every other week, there's a new scandal, there's a new problem over at GDOE, where's the Board of Education? Because they're supposed to be supervising her. It's their one employee. The board gets one employee, and that's the superintendent. And they're supposed to be holding the superintendent accountable. This is the board's job. What I was told was that on Friday, and this was, I have a gripe with this because like we're really big on open government and public meetings and all that stuff, right? There was a meeting that happened behind closed doors of school officials, education board members, Cortec, Senator Vince Borja. I don't know if there were any other senators there, but we were told that at that meeting, the board chairwoman was blamed Cortec, and I would think that some of that blame is warranted, right? Like let's not sugarcoat that. But she didn't put any of the responsibility on either the superintendent or the Board of Education. It was everybody else's fault. And I think we all have to look at the board and we have to be like, are you guys serious? Do you have a grip on reality? Do you understand what's going on out? Like the community's outraged because this was a very stupid thing that happened. And it follows a whole bunch of stupid things that have happened over at GDOE. And this issue is not done. There is, there's a board meeting tomorrow. And we're going to be able to see front and center. And the board members, they could ignore the whole thing. I think they do that at their own peril. And it's not just, even if they're not going to run for re-election or anything like that, this is their reputations that are on the line. Like, we're going to look at this board meeting tomorrow, and we're going to look at how every one of these board members responds or does or ignores the fires that have been lit around the Guam Department of Education by the superintendent that most of them hired. And I think we're going to be watching to see which ones of them call for accountability and take responsibility for the decision that they made that gave us this superintendent who has started all of these fires and wasn't even around because she was on a trip to Fiji that the board approved of. Another off-island trip that the superintendent is on her $210,000 salary a year. She wasn't even here to at least help put out some of the fires that she started. When we come back from the other side of the commercial break, we're going to get to an investigative report that we are going to start to roll out today. And it is about Guam Regional Transit Authority as a dumping ground. Our research showing that there has been a whole lot of hiring over at that agency, and especially in the year preceding the primary election. Stick with us, and we're going to have Senator Jesse Lujan on the line with us as well to talk about it. Welcome back to the show. It is now 7:21 a.m. on Monday, the 17th of August, 2026. My name is Troy Torres. I just realized that more than half the year is gone, and we're almost to the Burr months. Good morning, Senator Jesse Lujan. How does it feel to be near the Burr months?
Good morning, Troy, and to your listeners, the Kandit listeners. Yeah, no, absolutely. The Burr months. Yeah, we're starting to the Christmas holiday, and actually, if you're in the Philippines when the Burr months come about, man, you're gonna see all the Christmas decoration and the of course the songs of Christmas and just the season, right? So it's exciting.
I'm gonna do
I'm
that.
excited.
I'm gonna. You know what? I think starting in September, I'm gonna start
Hmm.
putting up Christmas decorations because I'm all for that because I'm very happy with the voters at the
Hmm.
primary election. We're happy. You know, the administration's over. It's in its
Yeah.
lame duck period right now, which is of course also a dangerous period for the people of Guam to be in for a number of reasons. But I'm very thankful, Senator, especially you. You Senator Barnett, Senator Terlaje, Senator Perez, Senator Kaidegui, Senator Duenas, Senator Zumataufa. You guys have been pretty on it with the administration, and I'm pretty grateful for that because we're in a lame duck period, and you know things tend to get a little crazy around this time.
Well, once we get done, I mean, we go in at 9 o'clock for our regular session, and then at 2:30 we come back and vote on the budget bill. Basically, the governors called us in for that basically, and so we're in a perpetual session at this point, and so I can't wait actually to get back into our oversight hearings and stuff. We've got tourism and the airport that I need to call in and by monthly oversights with that. Also with GPA in regards to the power outages that we're having and GRTA and all that. So yeah, I can't wait to get back and get done with sessions and to get back to again holding our agencies accountable.
I think, Senator, there is, and I wish you guys weren't voting on the budget this afternoon because I think when you see and I forwarded the research that I got from I obtained through FOIA over at
Mhm.
GRTA over to your office. So I hope you had a chance to review those GG1s. But it I think the public would be served well to have administrative or miscellaneous provisions in the budget that really regulate LTAs, limited term appointments, throughout the government of Guam in the transition to the new gubernatorial administration. And it's because, Senator, if you saw what we sent to you over the
Mhm.
past year, well, let's start with in 2018, GRTA had only 8 employees.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
they stopped the outsourcing to Kloppenberg. They did the bus operations in-house, and their fixed route services dropped from 120,000 rides in
Mhm.
2019 to
Sure.
60,000 rides in 2024. So we're paying more money, and we've hired there are now 50 some as of 2024, 52 employees where there once was 8. Some of them are bus operators or bus drivers, many of them are not. And then our research found that over the past year, that for the year preceding the primary election, GRTA hired 20 people, none of them bus drivers, all but 2 of them hired in 2026, all of them non classified appointments, meaning, Senator, this was a political
Mhm.
dumping ground. And I have your
Well,
thoughts on this.
Sure. No, absolutely. And Troy, it saddens that we're hearing this as well. And I've heard the same thing. I've gotten calls regarding that, and that's why I just can't wait to get over with our budget sessions to be able to get back to the work as well in regards to oversights. Because one of the things that from the start of this our term, Troy, is we spoke about this is what are we going to do with GRTA and the conversation I've had, of course, for the oversight of DPW, and we were going to have a roundtable on whether or not, because as a matter of fact, I met numerous times with Linda Abanis, who was prior Tyrone Taito being the acting administrator up there at GRTA, is that they wanted to merge with DPW because DPW has the infrastructure to do that. So, but that's one of the conversations we're having, and whether or not what are we going to do with them, or even to just all privatize GRTA. So it again, it's bothersome to hear that this is what's going on, because we need to decide first what we're going to do with them, whether we're going to merge them or outsource them and do either a public-private partnership or outright, what do you call this, privatize them. So it is again, I'm looking forward to the oversight for GRTA and our other agencies as well. The tourism and the airport as well as GPA as well.
Senator, this is only one agency that,
Sure.
or this is only the second of two agencies that we have looked into. The first one was DISID. There was also evidence that it was used as a political dumping ground throughout. What if this is something that is replicated throughout the government of Guam, that massive hiring was happening in the year preceding the primary election? Does it call to mind the struggles senators have been having with the administration regarding their requests for more money?
Well,
And
I mean, absolutely, and this is just growing the government, and growing the government. But are the people of Guam receiving the services and the growth of government? And if the government is growing, then you should see the outcome, that the services are being provided. We're not having these challenges that we're having right now. But it just seems like again, as the government grows, we have less services and care for the community being taken care of.
and this isn't just any sort of service. This is public transportation, which
Sure.
ranks
Sure.
at the, if not at the top, then toward the top in terms of what lends to people falling into poverty and staying there, being
Sure.
unable to get or keep a job because they don't have proper transportation, or to be
Sure.
able to get to the clinics so that they can get the preventative care that they need, et cetera, right? How much
Sure.
does all this weigh on you when you think about poverty in our community, and
Oh,
really whether the government is actually caring about this issue?
big time, Troy. As a matter of fact, I think it's about 2 months ago, month and a half, 2 months ago. We just kicked off the groundbreaking for the park and ride up in Dedito there, right? And I asked the administration, of course, Tyrone Taito, and they put it together, a fixed route going through from Camp Bloss, Micronesian Mall, down to Tumon, down to Aganya, all the way down to Big Navy. I said, here's an opportunity to make sure that again, we have a consistent route, right? And to start with, you have a built-in customer base here. I said right off the bat, you have these military folks that come into Camp Bloss. They don't come here with vehicles and all that, so they're going to need transportation. So we have a built-in customer base at this point. Let's do that, and let's make sure that it's consistent going all the way down to Big Navy, and then going around and making sure. But it has to be consistent and reliable, because these folks, we have folks, and right now we give folks that need to go to the doctor and all that, free. A ride on the transit, but they're not consistent. They can't make their appointments and things of that nature. So regardless if it's free, if it's not consistent, they're going to miss their appointments. So we need a reliable and consistent, of course, mass transit here on Guam, and I'm very concerned about that, because more people are leaving, poverty levels is rising, and more folks are not being able to afford again to get to their appointments or to get to work, and that's one of the things. I mean, when people are having to go to work, but then they don't have transportation, they need public transportation, but it's consistent to be able to get to those jobs and appointments and on time.
Senator, at your oversight hearing, will you probe GRTA about the decision to drop Kloppenberg, and for basically data about how much it costs back then to outsource and to provide bus operations through Kloppenberg versus how much it's costing now, against the number of rides that has gone down drastically?
Oh, absolutely, and that's all part of the oversight, and that's what it would be, and that's again part of why we wanted to do a round table, whether or not again whether we're going to merge the GRTA with DPW, or again do a public-private partnership and all that, and cost is a very big factor in this whole thing, and who's the most cost, not just cost effective, but more reliable. And so those are the things that again. So what you're saying in regards to what's happening to GRT is upsetting, because we already had it in place. So again, I can't wait to get back to again the footing of oversight to our agencies.
What type of questions do you have for Tyrone Taitano about the 20 people hired the year prior to the primary election?
Well, of course, you know what are their positions? What are the positions? And you know, and if we don't have enough bus drivers at this point, we don't have enough buses. You know, and we're having hiring more people. I mean, I can see if these were bus drivers because we have more buses. I can see that. But if we have more employees, then we have routes, then we have buses. And it just doesn't make sense. It definitely proves that it's a political dumping ground. But you know, because I don't see more number of buses coming in. I know there are orders for new buses, but they're not in yet. And so if they were here already, and I can understand that, but most of those drivers are LTAs anyway, right? So I can understand that. But if again you're hiring more administrative people, but then you know what are you administering? You know, you don't have extended routes, and then you don't have more buses. So what is being administered at this point, right?
None of the 20 new hires are for bus drivers, according to
Yeah,
sources within the agency. And then
sure.
one of them, actually, Senator, I'm looking at it right now, one of them was recently fired from the Seaport Authority on allegations of workplace violence.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, geez. Okay. I mean, so being transferred to another government agency, and oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you know that's really yeah. Thank you for that. But these are all will be questions and probed into what position, you know, what position does that person hold? Is it critical? I don't think it is. You know, if it's just
It's called an unclassified appointment, and it was made 3 weeks prior to the primary election. And this
do you
person
know
is seen, trumpeting for the Josh and Tina campaign.
what you know do you know what position they hold at this point
It,
at GRT?
it says unclassified appointment. I was told it's administrative.
Well, okay. Well, thank you for that information. I don't have that information. I have heard we have heard about again hires being done, not just in that agency but other agencies as well regarding
Yes.
that, and that's why, like I said, I can't wait to get the announcements out, and you'll be of course some of the folks that will announce our
Oh
oversights
yes,
once
we
we get
run
that.
we run your notices for free, Senator. You don't have to
Yeah.
spend any funds. You don't have to spend any funds to publish your notices on Kandit. That's a public service we perform.
Well, thank you for that, and yeah, but so yeah, no, but thank you for the information, I did receive that information that
Thank
you
you.
sent to us as well, and yeah, those are very again bothersome, information regarding not just that agency, but there are other agencies as well that
Yes.
we've received information regarding that, and so as you know, we've held all our agencies to accountable to things they do, and and we rely on them as experts, and if they don't deliver, then they have to answer to this body as well, and you've seen that with a couple of our agencies already. So
Yes.
again, we will hold them accountable, and we will ask them to come into to these oversights. Absolutely.
Senator Lujan, thank you so very much. Please don't forget to advertise your political commercials on Candid News. You can call
We're
Johnny
gonna
Rosario.
we're gonna be doing that, Troy. We're gonna be doing that. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thanks for accepting my
Thank you.
shameless plug. God bless you, and have a
Take
great
care.
Monday,
You too.
sir.
God bless you as well.
Okay.
Take care. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. So, I mean, are we really surprised at this point? I was gonna say disturbing news coming out of the Guam Regional Transit Authority about it being a political dumping ground, but are we? at all shocked that this is and in the next part of the show, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about this being, what's that term, like par for the course or dime a dozen in this administration, but something, a rare glimpse into the inner workings of the Democratic Party of Guam that prove, right, that this is the type of thing, this is who these people are. And I want to talk about that on the other side of the commercial break. Stick with us.
You asked, we delivered. Guam AutoSpot is extending our overstock sell-off with the hottest deals on island, like our 2025 GMC Canyon with $4,000 off. Or slide into a brand new Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, starting at just $24,995. September is your chance to drive big and save even bigger. Visit us today or get pre-approved online at guamautospot.com or call 478-AUTO. Guam AutoSpot, where the savings never stop.
This stuff's hitting the spot. And now all I want is KFC. I want extra fried crispy chicken, red rice, mashed potatoes, coleslaw, and biscuit with the butter. Welcome back to the show. It's now 7:37 a.m. My name is Troy Torres. I'm a fat boy by heart, and you put food in front of me, it's gonna be gone. Last part of the show, we talked about the shenanigans being pulled by the administration, and really, like I highly doubt that it was just DISID and GRTA used as political dumping ground. If you don't know what a political dumping ground is, it's actually a very simple concept. When an incumbent administration is looking to get reelected or to win the next election, whatever, or to help their political allies, they will use the people's money, taxpayer dollars, in order to fund hiring into the agencies. And normally they'll choose one or two agencies. Like in the Calvo administration, the political dumping grounds were the airport, GITA. Where else? There were a couple political dumping grounds. I can't remember. But it wasn't like a lot. It's just the Calvo administration. The political people were never able to, or were hardly ever able to, get their way over the policy people. And Eddie Calvo was pretty good about that. And so while there were people who were hired who should not have been hired, or those positions weren't necessary, it wasn't like a lot. It's certainly not like it is now. Matter of fact, during the Calvo administration, the total number of FTEs throughout the executive branch, meaning the agencies under the governor's control, and even in the autonomous agencies, went down dramatically. While I think went down by like 2,000, if I'm not mistaken. While the more critical agencies, the hiring or the FTEs went up, like in GPD or Guam Fire Department. Anyway, so a political dumping ground is an agency that is used by the incumbent administration to hire people or create positions. And normally they are special projects coordinators, limited term appointments, temporary appointments, unclassified appointments. And I'm not sure why the legislature has authorized so much of this type of hiring. Like the legislature should have regulated this type of hiring. I digress. And you hire that way so that you can hire whoever you want. These people don't have to like come from a list. They don't have to meet merit-based requirements. You hire whoever you want, and they're normally at these lower qualifications, or like you just need a GED or a high school diploma, and the pay is pretty good. Unclassified pay is pretty darn good. It's better than classified pay, and it's because you don't have merit-based protections. But being that there are no merit-based protections, that's sort of like the carrot and the stick. That's the stick part of it. The carrot is that you get you get hired, you get the pay, but the stick is, and it's just something that's kind of held over you, is you got to play ball. You have to be loyal, and you have to be blindly loyal to the administration, meaning you got to go to the pocket meetings and the fundraisers. You got to ask your family or have your family vote for Lou and Josh, or Josh and Tina, whatever the case is. The Democratic Party of Guam under Lou and Josh has made it. I don't believe it has ever been this bad. I firmly believe that it's even worse than it was in the Gutierrez Bordallo administration. The level of this demand for blind loyalty, punishment if you are not blindly loyal, the tit for the tat, the cronyism, right? And it's been more of anecdotal, maybe even folklore in society, because we never really get a chance to. The public never gets a chance to see or hear what happens behind closed doors and how these demands are made, until some idiot within the Democratic Party of Guam leaked a recording of the post-primary election meeting that they had with who the voters selected to be the Democratic Party nominees, Therese, Terlaje, and Sabina Perez, to the chagrin of the Lou and Josh and Tina people, of course, who all evidence showing fully expected that their candidates were going to win. They spent $775,000. Terlaje Perez spent $4,985. They were superior. They were dominant in advertising, in messaging, in their ground game. Terlaje Perez had no ground game, almost no advertising, and they still won the election, got the highest number of votes among all the gubernatorial candidates. So, of course, there's going to be pain, right? Like when you lose an election, it's very painful, it's very hurtful, and emotions do run high. Here's the thing. Terlaje and Perez, they went to this meeting, and if you listen to the leaked recording, they were extremely gracious and magnanimous and humble. They were like, hey, we're here. Thank you so much to everybody who worked so hard. They never even said, because I think they understood, right? They didn't say like, thank you to everybody who voted for us. They didn't even go to that. They were just like, thank you to everybody who worked so hard for our Democratic candidates. We're here to work very hard for these candidates as well, because we want a Democratic majority, and we ask also for your support. We're humbly asking for your support. So they actually conducted themselves the way you're supposed to conduct yourself if you're looking for party unity, right? But this was an ambush, clearly. Then the chips were stacked against them already, because you're dealing with people. Terlaje and Perez, they were dealing with people who don't like to play by the rules, who have been over the past 8 years accustomed to their sense of entitlement and their actions and their attitude of absolute impunity against being held accountable, taking responsibility for the wrong that they've done, feeling that whatever it is that they have done over the past 8 years has been a favor for the people of Guam, rather than them understanding that they are there holding positions of public trust, using our funds and administering our government. They've never seen it that way. They say they do, but their actions tell a whole different story. They've always felt entitled to run this government. They've always felt entitled to use public funds the way they see fit, so that they can expand themselves, so that they can continue their grip on power. And that was on full display at that meeting. And it was absolutely disgusting hearing what those men had to say, and how they tried to bully and to blackmail Therese Terlaje, being led by Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, a mob led by Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, trying to blackmail them with their support by saying, you have to do the things that Governor Lou Leon Guerrero is demanding that you do, even if it goes against your principles, because that's what loyalty is. Screw your loyalty. And the voters said that to you as well. They said, screw your loyalty. We are done with your cronyism, because that's the true word for it. It ain't about loyalty. This is about cronyism. And look what happened over at Guam Regional Transit Authority, and the transactions that have happened with our money. These are their shenanigans. This is the type of thing that the Lou and Josh and the Josh and Tina people want to continue in the government. And despite the fact that the voters have told them to go take a hike, they tried to blackmail and bully Therese Terlaje and Sabina Perez to continue this type of shenanigan, to continue this cronyism, to continue things like dumping grounds over at GRTA. And you know what Therese Terlaje and Sabina Perez, or what Tony Ada and EJ Calvo should do? Whoever prevails on November 3, you know what either of these teams should do? Fire all those LTAs, except for the ones who actually have a reason to be there and a job to do that is efficient and that works for the people of Guam. And if so, they need to be transitioned into classified positions, not unclassified, limited term appointments. These guys, the ones who got their jobs just because of politics, they need to go. Not just because this is a waste of taxpayer funds, because they were willing to sacrifice their moral compass, which means they are willing to do unethical and maybe even illegal things using our funds. Because as soon as you sacrifice your moral compass, you're going to do, and look at the Pua case. Matter of fact, some of the people hired at GRTA were working in that Pua office during that time. The impunity of this administration and the audacity of this administration to try to continue itself by forcing itself in a mob, trying to blackmail Therese Terlaje and Sabina Perez. I think we should have absolutely nothing to do with it. We should be absolutely outraged by all of it. But also, are we surprised what one bit that this is what these people are trying to do? Retain their power. And I say to both gubernatorial teams, let them go. For Kandit News, I'm Troy Torres. You all have a beautiful day. God bless you.